Oh,
Do we need Joe Pizzo? Does Pizzo?
where's Pizzo? Oh, okay, no, sorry. Okay, good evening. We're opening a meeting for our budget for Bensalem Township Council, December 5th, 2020, meeting for the budget for 2022. Our 223 budget, thank you. Opening a meeting with a moment of silent meditation and pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as we discussed, we're going to review and consider the adoption of the proposed 2023 budget the mayor had presented to council in the beginning of November. And we've had it and been able to review it and call John Jakowski and ask him questions about the budget also. The first part, Mayor, did you want to make any statements before we start, or you?
Yeah, I did,
Okay.
very brief. You have my message, all of you, I think, got it
Yep.
emailed to you. I think you have a hard copy now, or don't you?
Yes, we do,
Okay.
yeah.
I'd just like to have that entered into the record. I'm not going to read it all. It tells us where we've been, where we're going, and how we got there. So I think that if you read the letter, Township is in great shape. Another year, the 30th budget that I've presented to council, and we have never had a tax increase, a real estate tax increase on our general fund in all of those years. So we're very proud of that, all of us working together, and council, that give us the opportunities to be able to get this done here in Bensalem. So with that, Mr. President,
Okay, we'll go
I
and
thank
review
you
it.
for
All right,
that.
thanks for your letter. We'll make the mayor's letter dated December 2nd that he provided. I did read the letter. Yeah, do you want us to take a 15-minute break while you read it, or no? No, I did read it myself.
because there was a letter you never read.
No, this is 6 pages long, so I don't want to read it now. But no, it's a very well-written letter, and it really spells out a lot of the things that we've been able to do. I was very impressed that we're the 10th largest community in Pennsylvania. We have 1,400 square feet of open space, and our budget's in
Acres.
1,400 acres, I'm sorry, acres of open space, including our new park up in Trevose with our soccer fields we've got. So we're real happy about the getting through the bad situation in our economy with COVID and interest rates, and we're holding in there. Okay, so we're going to do, does anybody have a particular order that they want to go, or do you want to go by the order here? John, do you want to go first?
We'll by what's on the agenda, please.
Oh, okay, go by the agenda order. Okay, so first on the agenda is the Director of Public Safety.
And
Fred used to pretend like he had something to do, so we always had him first, so I don't know if Bill's the same.
and why the director is approaching the podium. I just have one minor change when on page 5 of the revenues. I had flip-flopped the police services and the police miscellaneous lines. So right towards the top, there's the police section. Police miscellaneous should read 57,000 as a budget, and police services should read 900,000 as they did in, thank you for pointing that out, as they had in previous years. So it's just a correction that'll be in the final budget, but I just wanted to put it
Okay,
in.
and then I guess we can let us know what page.
Page 11 is the police budget.
Okay. Page 11 is the police budget. Okay, Bill, whenever you're ready, if you want to do an overview or you want to take questions. Or...
Good evening, council. Good evening, mayor and members of the administration. I'm here tonight to present our police and fire budgets for calendar year 2023. We did a lot of scrutiny over this, and we think it's a very good budget that'll provide for all the needs of this township, especially with public safety. So I would like to present it respectfully as is, and I will take any questions from council or anyone else tonight at the board to answer.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Bill? I had one question, Bill, just to say that you've done a great job since you've taken over, and, that's all I hear, that you're doing such a great job, and
Thank you.
I agree. It is 69% of our overall budget, according to the mayor's letter, so it's an important thing. Now, the mayor did state that we have over 100 police officers. I know we just swore a couple in. Are we just replacing officers that had left, or what's your plans for the future as far as like officers, the amount that we have, and are there going to be any new ones this year?
So currently, we are staffed at 105 sworn officers in Bensalem. We are 4 short right now with an active list that we would hope to replace, currently allocated in the early part of next year. And in this budget, which I've submitted, I've allocated for 1 more that I'm requesting, who will be assigned as an additional SRO in the school, with funding coming from the school district as we structured past SRO positions.
Okay, great. Yeah, it seems to be a need. Does any other council people have any questions for Bill? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, first of all, we'll start off with the budget in its entirety. And when we go to page number 11, and you have the account numbers, and we talk about the salaries and benefits, as Councilman Knowles has just said, we'll have over 106 officers, including yourself, at this time. But the budget is going basically an increase of 18% is what I calculated, and that's taking us from the projected date of December 31st, 2022, and that's $26,766,940 to what's going to be in the projected 2023 budget of $31,521,100. So basically, that's approximately, I have it as a $5 million increase. Can you explain what's happening there?
Certainly. So in 2022, this year, as we wrap up, as you said, it's at 26 million, close to 27 million. Part of the reason that's so below budget is our staffing. Throughout this year, we've had approximately 18 people that needed to be promoted from vacancies that left the department, some of them being our command, sergeants, corporals, and detectives. So not having some of those positions filled temporarily, and also not having some of the positions filled at the hiring level, we saved, if you go through those line items, we've saved on salaries in general. We've also saved on overtime, police overtime. There's a few $100,000 less than budgeted, which we always budget high because we don't know the unknown, what can happen. So if we can keep that below that, that's great, but in the event that we have a homicide or 3 or 4, which we try to prevent, we need that money there. And also in our health insurance, I believe we saved there as well. Additionally, in the operating budget, as being new as the director, put a lot of scrutiny over this budget and reallocated some things and made it a priority to limit our expenses as much as possible, which I'm hoping to continue that through the remainder of this year, which was also a savings of money.
Okay. So then you anticipate to be within that, the new budget, or be lower than that, is that correct?
My goal would be to be lower. Obviously, I'll be within the budget next year if that's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
But our goal would be to staff as much as we can early in the part of next year and not need as many promotions or have as many vacancies. So I wouldn't anticipate that type of gap as what you're referring to.
When is, by contract, contractual agreement with the officers in the township, is that a 3% per year increase? Do you know that?
I believe it
What that
was,
is?
John could check, I believe this year was 4%?
Yeah, 4%.
And when is that contract ending? How long is that? Until
2022 was the first year of a 5-year contract span.
Okay.
Yeah,
And is it 40% every year?
Can you answer that, John? Somewhere 3.5.
Yeah, it varies. It's not a straight, but you're right. It's between 4 and 3.5 throughout the 5 years.
Yeah, Bill, just to clarify a little bit, so last year you projected $30,809,000 and ended up at 26.7. So now you're projecting 31.5.
Yes, that's correct, Councilman,
So
and the reason that's going up is what Councilman Kisselback referred to as the 4% raises that the officers,
But you expect to come in under the projected
yes,
31.5 too?
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, the other thing that comes into play is with health insurance, we budget for a higher percentage. At the time when we present the budget to you, we don't have our actual health insurance renewals. We did get the renewals at this point. They are much lower than we have budgeted by roughly 4%. So we will, right off the bat, starting the beginning of the year, we'll have a reduction in health insurance, the health insurance cost itself. So that's one thing.
Okay.
And if I can take you to the next page, if it would be, and I don't know if this would be the right time to do it, it's public safety and fire.
Okay.
Do you want to wait for that, Joe, or do you want, is that at the appropriate time now?
Yeah, no, you can.
Okay, well, then the question is simply this, and it's certainly easy to answer. In the operating expenses, account number 47610, I guess it would be, and it's vehicle purchase, and that's going up considerably. What is the vehicle we're purchasing for $800,000?
So this was an unanticipated cost. In July, our fire truck got hit head-on and was totaled. So that was to replace the fire truck, and John may be able to comment on this, but the township did a great job of recouping much of that expense. So it wasn't coming out of, if you
Yeah,
like-
so fire trucks take 6 months to a year to come in. So back in July, we got a quote for a fire truck to be built. The anticipated delivery is April to May of next year. So we really need to get in line right away. So we placed an order for a replacement fire truck. We did get roughly around $700,000 back in insurance money between our insurance recoups. So overall, the truck will just cost about $120,000
In cash,
in cash.
net cash.
Correct. Correct.
Well, how much is the total, I mean, fire trucks are not $1 million, they're several $1 million.
This truck that we're purchasing is $820,000.
Oh, really? What
Next
kind?
year. Yeah, for the same exact truck that we had on the road before that 222 drove. It's the same exact truck. It's $800,000. We got a price very recently. It's almost close to $1 million now if we were to buy that same truck.
Yeah, I thought they were over that cost,
Yeah.
actually, to tell you the truth.
It depends on what model truck you purchase, but that's where we're
Yeah,
at.
I think
right
some
now.
of them big giant ladder trucks that go up pretty high are pretty.
Okay.
We've actually seen a 24% increase in just vehicle purchases, and I believe the fire trucks followed the same line.
Yeah, I
of
thought
thing.
it'd be more expensive, that's why I was wondering what it was, but I didn't know what magic you were doing
But
there.
there's no other vehicles being purchased for fire this year.
But we
just the fire
appreciate
truck.
it. All
So,
right.
so if we recoup that money from insurance, then we'll just hold that money in that until we need it later?
So the revenue, or the money that came in from the insurance company will be recognized as revenue this year. Will go into the fund balance to help fund this for next year.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, Bill's up there as the Public Safety Director, so any questions in reference to police or fire, I guess, would be appropriate now. Anything else, Mr. Kizzelback? or-
I guess that's what, I'm sorry.
Mr. Kissel-Back answers the questions I have.
Okay, good.
No,
No,
the
you
next
have a
would be building and planning, but that's the
Okay.
next page. But no, that's it, thank you very much.
Actually, I do have one question, back to vehicles. Your budget last year was 267, projected's coming in at 355, and then next year you're budgeting basically the same as last year, which I understand most people do it that way. How come we have $100,000 more almost
For this current year?
this current year?
So when we were evaluating the environment for 2023, and we saw that there was going to be a 24% increase, we had looked to secure 3 more vehicles this year at the reduced rate. We were able to work that out with our dealer, Chapman, to get the vehicles this year. With money, I was able to save in other aspects of the budget, because vehicles are the priority right now, and we wanted to keep that line item very similar for 2023, so we were able to move money for that purchase to get the 3 vehicles, which we got in 2022, to help with the fleet. There were 2 hybrid vehicles, the police package hybrids, and an undercover vehicle.
Okay, thank you for doing that.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to comment. You guys are doing a fantastic job over there. I know you've got to be doing a lot of preparing with the sanctuary city, Philadelphia, and everything going on there to be prepared for the future, and I just want to let you know that you and your men, your officers are doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's any other questions? Okay, if not, Bill, thanks a
I would
lot.
just like to say thank you to council and the mayor and our administration for the support you give to our police and fire. A lot of municipalities are jealous of how we work together and the support we get, so thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yep.
We appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll have Tim Schultz, Director of Public Works, come up. His budget can be found on page 14. We'll probably flip between 14 and page 22. Page 14 is his Public Works budget in the general fund, and page 26 is his, is the liquid fuels money that we receive from the state to help with our, the freight costs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of
Okay.
council. Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for having me in tonight, and if anybody has any questions, I'm ready.
I guess I'll start with salary also.
Yeah, so Public Works did have a bunch of turnover with some drivers leaving and being replaced later in the year, as well as we are currently without a deputy director within the budget. So that is the cost savings there. Tim's doing a phenomenal job with the two positions.
Okay, so at present, we're just at $1 million, and then next year we'll be where we should be at 1.4 million.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me.
God bless you.
Are we planning on getting a deputy, or are we trying to, Tim's doing such a good job, we're just going to not bother?
Give him a raise and let him run.
That's the director, deputy director.
He's shaking his head, yes, he doesn't want to do it by himself.
Ready for the big snowstorms that are going to be coming? They're saying this is going to be our biggest year. You ready to go?
Always, always.
Tim, just have somebody do the deputy director's job, but don't tell them they're deputy director yet, until next year's budget.
Same thing goes for you and your crew. You guys work hard, you do a lot of time and effort, take cleaning up after storms and everything, and once we get the stormwater management stuff going, hopefully that'll make your job a little bit easier.
Oh, absolutely, I'm sure it will. Thank you, thank you.
And Tim, like Mr. Clary just mentioned, a good point. You guys are prepared, it's getting cold out there. We got that extra salt bin, that extra salt.
It's
building.
safe to say we have more salt in this township than we have ever had before.
Okay.
I recently even rented a salt stacker to get even more in our domes, because you're limited to the amount of salt capacity, what equipment, you're gonna hit the beams and everything else, basically. So we actually rented a salt stacker, so we were at capacity with our machines with the salt stacker. At minimum, we're getting an additional 500 tons in our domes. You guys also know we did an additional bin at Firefighters Field,
Yep.
told another 200-plus tons also for emergency backup. So we should have, I'm 100% sure we have more salt in the township than we've ever had before.
Yeah,
In stock.
And part of the reason for that was that we could, we could bulk it instead of getting caught short and having to pay, people that are pirating the prices.
Correct, sir. Obviously, when it snows, everybody needs it. I was hoping to stock before everybody needed it, the whole supply and demand.
Good.
And I'm also scared of sometimes you run into shortages. It's been crazy in the world lately, so I'm scared if there's a salt shortage, at least we're ready to go right now.
We
Okay.
haven't experienced that in the past.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, that's why I was big on stocking. You know my background, I came from the state. There's many years that the state ran out of salt, and we were just putting cinders on the road. And like I tell everybody, cinders they don't melt ice.
And it's supply and demand. When you need it, you need it. People
Correct,
charge
sir.
more for it.
When we get calls from the communities around us asking us if we can come do their streets, we know we're doing a good job.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're ready to go. Does anybody have any other questions? Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you, and I'll let you go next if you have questions. On the operating expenses, 43730, which is building repairs and maintenance, we're going from an exact figure, well, not exact, but $30,000 was spent up to date for this year, 2022, and we're going to anticipate $50,000, which is the normal budget. But do you anticipate any specific repairs that are scheduled on your agenda?
Yes, in our signed pole barn, I would like to insulate it and heat it. It is unheated right now, and we're running out of room. We have a lot of equipment that still requires water in it during the winter months. It's a constant thing of draining it, and even draining it, we still have them plug up when it gets cold. Matter of fact, it happened a couple of days ago. So we're hoping to heat our pole barn and insulate our pole barn so it's heated.
Has 4 sides that are closed?
Yes, yes, with a big garage door and a side entry door, yes.
Okay. That's it?
So the snow removal, sorry, back to that for the salt. I see that last year, under snow removal, it had $9,000, and then you're expected to be $313,000. So is that the purchase?
Yeah, so what we do is we actually budget snow removal in I was trying to get that to
I know,
you.
that's okay.
If you actually go to page 26, our liquid fuels, our state highway aid, which is our liquid fuels money that we receive from the state, one of the allowable expenses is snow removal, so you can pay the contractors that we hire to do the cul-de-sacs, as well as to purchase of salt. So there's a winter maintenance line of $600,000 in next year's budget that's utilized for snow removal. We use those funds first, and then the general fund money, which is in the public works budget, is for anything over and above that we should need to spend. So
Right now, they're both low.
Right, yeah. So the winter maintenance line in liquid fuels was 344 through September 30. It's probably closer to 450 today, just because we've been getting additional salt loads and those other bins that Tim had constructed. So, yeah, we still have about 150,000 left in liquid fuels for this year, and then we'll have the additional money in the general fund should we need it. And let's hope we don't need it.
Well, between now and December 31st?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think we learned our lesson that if we don't budget enough and we get those big storms having to come back time and time again.
Correct.
to make
Even
it
one
happen,
storm until they get
I'd
it-
rather have more money there than less money there and have you give us some back in the budget at the end. So-
Absolutely.
And I will definitely agree to that, because I know in December, I've been to events in Bristol, and I hate to say that, in another township, where you can tell that the roads have not been cleared. So we definitely appreciate you guys here as soon as you cross over on various sides of the township. You can tell the difference between
Nice to hear. Thank
our
you.
road
Thank
crews.
you.
And it's the one thing that I am most proud of, is the fact that when you come into Bensalem during a storm, at some point your road will be cleared. So you get to them as quickly as you can. You guys are working hard, so we appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for Public Works?
And Mr. President,
Nobody has any
Mr.
questions?
President,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make one comment with
Yeah.
Mr. Schultz, something that he's done, taken the initiative to do, is he's strategically placed bulk salt throughout the township, so that the crews wouldn't have to run all the way back to the township building. Helps keep the crews up in the areas, they're, again, save time, and makes for a smoother operation, so.
That's what they were doing in my backyard.
Yeah.
Okay, good,
But he's done a nice job setting that up, so just want to make you aware.
good.
Thank you, Mr. Smalley.
Okay, so we're ready. Okay, if nobody else has any questions, Tim, thanks a lot, all right?
Let me give you another feedback.
Okay, go ahead.
He has taken the initiative with cutting trees for the township. If you knew last year in the budget, he had that, what do you call that thing?
Oh, the aerial track lift.
Area track to cut trees. And we have drastically cut private companies cutting our trees.
We used the contractor once this year for a small job. It was a safety reason we did not do it. It was around wires, I believe, and it's a basic safety issue. We wouldn't touch that. So we had a contractor do one half-day job for us, and that's the only time we used them in this whole year. So, and the guys work hard. I got a really good crew. They make me look good, the township look good. And thank you, Mayor, for noticing that. And it's something I'm proud of as well. And our guys want to work. They don't want stuff contracted out, and neither do all of us. So they're willing to work and do the job safely and effectively and efficiently. We let them do, and they do a good job.
And you
Big
guys,
savings, big
Do
savings.
you go on to the country club and do any pruning there also?
Absolutely, sir, yes. Matter of fact, we've been there a couple weeks ago, and we're getting caught up, and once it freezes, we'll talk to Roger under Mr. Bogan, and we're scheduled to go in there. Probably after the new year, we'll go in, depending on weather and conditions. But yeah, we'll go in there and probably spend a couple weeks and help the golf course get caught up on what they need to as well if they have anything.
Yeah, they were recently up at First Responders Field, taking care of pruning back all the overgrown trees on the upper fields up there. So, you know, it certainly, it saves a ton of money for us to have the crews do it versus outside contractors.
The more we do in-house, we know the job's done right. When you bring in outside contractors, you never know what kind of job you're going to get. When you guys do it, you do it right, and
Absolutely. The guys take pride in the work, and they do a job just like it was at their own house.
that's good for the taxpayers.
Okay, anybody else? All right, thanks, Tim.
Thank you, ladies
All
and
right.
gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Good job.
Next one is Chuck McMullen for Parks and Rec. His budget can be found on page 19.
Good evening, everyone, council, mayor, and the residents of Bensalem Township. It's my pleasure to be here today. If I have any questions, I'm on page 19. If you have any questions for the Parks and Rec budget, I'm here to answer them.
I have a question with the revenue. You're increasing it, and the account number is 36720, recreation program fees. It seems to be increasing considerably from the actual amount from this year, from $77,000 to $209,000. Are we charging more, or are we offering more?
Just offering more programs. And, you know, we have some of the concerts and stuff like that in there too.
Okay.
So it looks like the 2022 budget was the same as what you're budgeting for 2023, although projected
Right.
wasn't there. So can you tell us a little bit about the programs that we're going to see coming up?
Well, our normal programs that we run, our summer rec program, we have our tennis programs, we have soccer programs.
Is the summer rec program coming back in full?
That's determined on employees. That's mainly ever since the pandemic, everyone in the county is having a hard time getting employees to run their programs. So with us having you have to have like 6 kids to one counselor, we do.
And what's the age of the counselors?
16 and up.
16 and up, because I
Yeah.
remember doing it when I was 15.
No.
I worked for Parks and Rec when I was 15, was my first
Yeah,
job.
well, we
Tell them
found
to
that a
keep
lot of the kids that
Oh,
are like in the program that are 12 years old, when they're 13, 14, years old, it's not a good situation, They can't run a program. And really, everybody decides, through the county, we all work together on this, and everybody's having same problems. They can't get employees, okay? So
So are we putting out feelers sooner rather than later to see?
we do it right away. So we'll start putting them out right away at the beginning of the year.
Do you go to the high school and make a presentation regarding
Yep,
that?
we send everything over there.
Do you send them to
we-
all the regional high schools?
Yep.
Because we
No, I
have a
mean,
lot
you
of,
make a presentation, not just send papers over. Does
We don't,
someone
no,
go
we
over
don't, well, with the pandemic, we haven't been going into schools or anything like that in the past few years.
but we can
used
now,
to.
right?
Pardon me?
We can start going back into the schools. I mean, the schools are pretty well
Yeah,
open.
we could, yeah. But we get into touch with, like, their guidance counselors and find out any kids looking for jobs. We advertise it. We do the best we can to get it out there. We used to get a ton of kids.
Yeah, because I know a lot of kids that are like 16, 17, 18 in high school.
Right.
That I enjoyed it when I did it. It was a great 6
Oh,
weeks.
yeah,
It was-
yeah. A lot of it's got to do with the amount of money, too. A lot of these, young teenagers are making a lot more money doing other things. That's part of the problem, too. And we're very limited here, what we can pay our counselors and all, Because we don't charge a lot, we have a program that we run for 5 weeks, and it's only like $5.75. Like, in other parts of the county, like, they'll be that much a week, to go to the camp, so.
But I think it's a great program because we do have so many families here that need that during the summer. And I know
Absolutely.
lots of us can do it, but lots of us can't do it. So I would hope we
Yeah.
will be able to figure out a way to offer
Yeah,
more
well,
since
we had it,
we're
it
moving
was funny
away.
because I
from the
took I told, when we were getting our registrations, I said, let me know after the deadline how many people call us to see, if there was going to be a lot more people call us. And we got 3 phone calls after the deadline. So it was advertised, everybody knew about it, and we only got 3 phone calls after. So I was like, I'm thinking to myself, like, we wouldn't have been able to fill a full program anyway at that point.
We did have some changes, though, didn't we? Increase the rate, and was there a change with scheduling? That was feedback that I got in the last year or two.
Scheduling pretty much stayed the same.
But the schools weren't utilized in the last 2 years,
Well, the
right?
schools, we haven't, okay? The schools run their own programs in there. They have their base program in there, so a lot of schools we cannot use.
But the base program costs thousands for the summer as
I know.
opposed to hundreds. So I think that the summer rec program is something that's affordable to families in Bensalem.
Absolutely.
But some of the feedback that I did receive was location, the schedule.
Right.
There was a price increase, but it was better than anything else that they could
Right.
participate in.
Right.
So I look forward to seeing it kind of come back to life and what we've seen in past years now that we are able to utilize the schools again.
Well, in
and
the
partner.
last years that we had probably around 300 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last year we had about 150 some kids. So, it's just, like basically it's getting employees and we're not going to put 20 children with one counselor. We're not doing that,
Now, Chuck, on a positive note, up at Galway and Richland, the park there, you finished the hockey rink, is
Yep.
done? Okay, because I noticed that the PAL kids, I think, were playing there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
They had a nice
played-
league up there.
It's on a new surface?
Yeah.
that they use, and that's working out like we thought?
Yes, it
So-
is.
Okay, and then we have plans for a sprinkle park, or what's the proper
Yes,
name?
it's in the budget. Yes, we're working on that now.
And that'll
all
be
the
at that
details.
location?
Yes, it'll be at that location. Yep.
Splash Park, yeah.
Yep.
Is that what it's called?
Pardon me?
Splash Park is the
Yeah,
proper
yeah,
term?
it's just like, yeah, it's a spray park.
Spray Park, yeah.
There's no water, there's zero depth, it's a spray park.
Yeah, Spray Park, okay.
Yep.
And we're working on that. And then we're also completed the lower field up at, off of Bristol Road for the soccer.
First responders.
Right,
Yes,
first
we did
responders.
have people playing up there.
On the
We
lower
are looking into some other, like artificial turf for there.
If we get a grant,
We've gotten
right?
some, and the reason for that, once we get open full-time, it's going to be busy up there. And you'll never be able to go spring and fall soccer without destroying the grass, and you'll never have a time to rest the field.
And we're working on a lit field up on the second level?
That's already, yep, we already contracted that out.
Okay, good.
So, that's going to be done up top and then the lights down on the bottom. So that we're moving along good on that.
So when do we
Okay.
think we'll be able to open it for use?
Well-
To rent it out, well, for our kids first, but then rent it out on days when,
Well, the way
Locally.
we're looking at it right now is, if we don't do a turf field there, it'll open in the spring, okay, on the bottom field, and we should be ready to open the top in the spring. Okay, Public Works came, we did a lot of tree work, we tore some buildings down, we had to, right now, we got to remove a lot of the wooden poles that are there, they're rotted, so they have lights on them, and that's going to be replaced by new Musco lighting. So we're working hard to get that done. We're going to work through, now we've been working right through the winter to get this ready.
Okay, so that'll be ready.
We're hoping.
looking forward to it. I know a lot of the kids are
Oh,
excited.
yeah.
And a lot of
I
people are
talk-
excited
I
about
talked to a lot of them. I get a lot of phone calls. It's going to be a good thing. Just, we have to do it right. We can't. Everything we do is the right way. It's not, we don't try to,
Well, it was a premier field at one point. It would be great to bring it back
yes, it was.
and be able to utilize it and be another
Yep.
attraction to come to Bensalem,
Oh, yeah.
either whether living or visiting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that's the major things we're getting done there. Does anybody have any other questions for Chuck? Do you have any questions, Ed, or no?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. You okay? All right, Chuck, thanks a lot.
I want to thank all you guys too.
Okay,
And over the course of the year, all the councilmen I dealt with and the mayor, it's been a pleasure with you guys.
okay,
You do
I
a great
appreciate you
job.
taking our calls
All right.
when we call you, Chuck. We appreciate you taking our calls.
That's my
and
job.
Getting back to us. All
That's
right,
my job.
thanks.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, next person up is Ken Farrell, Director of Building and Planning. His budget can be found on page 13.
Good evening, members of council, Mayor, John and Bill. Certainly, are there any questions about my budget? It's pretty much in line with last year's budget.
Business is picking up, huh?
Ebbs and flows.
Ebbs and flows?
It's ebbs and flows, and
I was curious about that one. So-
especially with parks, next year, that's going to be a very big project as well, so
Yeah,
we're ready for it.
and I guess use and oxy permits are down a little bit, right? Are they down a little bit or still going?
It's steady,
Steady?
steady.
And we're still getting the same amount of building permits and such?
Yeah, we are, and again, that's ebbs and flows because, a lot of them are seasonal, in the fall, we get them, people wanting to finish stuff up, so there might be a little lull, but then after the first of the year, they want to hit the spring running, so we're going to get inundated with a lot of permits then for the spring, so again, it's ebbs and flows and.
I'm curious if the in-ground pool trend is going to continue in
Well,
the spring.
COVID was the biggest thing for the in-ground
Yeah.
pool people because nobody went on vacation.
Yep.
So they took that, 2,000 or 5,000, whatever it was, and they put in-ground pools. And we were just inundated with in-ground pool permits. And so that's kind of slowed up a little bit because now people are starting to go back on vacation.
Yep. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Ken? Ken, how we doing, like, employee-wise? You have a full crew, or you're?
Well, yes and no. We are down one because we had a clerk leave.
Okay.
And we're in the process of interviewing to replace her. We
Okay.
have one clerk that is retiring at the end of the year. We promoted one of our clerks to office manager, so she's now the office manager, so her position is going to be filled at some point. So we're in the process of doing interviews. We just had second interviews today with some people, and we're in the process of making other second interviews. So hopefully by the beginning of the year, we will be fully staffed again.
Okay, and then, are we still outsourcing some of the permit work?
We outsource our residential permit, and then we outsource the commercial building inspection part and the electrical inspection part.
Okay, that's at the same place, right?
Yeah, same companies, nothing has changed with that.
Could you elaborate for the public what's happening at Parks Casino, when you had mentioned that just a moment ago?
Parks is in the process, going through the development process with the township to put the hotel on the property. They've been through zoning and got their approvals. They've been planning to get their approvals. They're in the process of making changes to the plan and will probably be at council. I'm going to say January. There's a chance it may be December, but what they're trying to do is get all their ducks in a row, get all the plans so that once it does come to council, it's a very clean letter and it will hopefully, council will act favorably upon it. Assuming council does act favorably upon it, they want to get started with foundation work while they are finishing the designs and submitting for permits and stuff. Rob, the fire marshal, and myself, we have a meeting with them on Monday to start reviewing and looking over the architectural plans to make sure it's what we're looking for to make our review a lot easier.
Thank you.
Our only meeting in December is the 12th, so I don't think.
I
I don't think-
understand that.
I don't think they're going to make it.
That's why I'm saying it most likely will be in January, and we're trying to work those details out.
Okay,
So I have one question. So permit time has increased in terms of turnover? It's gotten better as compared to it was with the pandemic? Because I know that's one of the things that we do here a lot. So I don't know if there's any efficiencies we're looking to do in the future, either system-wide or what have you? to
Well,
be able-
before I came here, we just went through the software, changing softwares. And that has helped. It's a good software. There are other softwares out there, but at 2 and 3 times the cost of what we're using. I think once we are fully staffed, that's going to be a big help because we promoted Noemi as our office manager. So now she's been there for 4 years and she knows the system, so she's able to react with all the other clerks, and that's made a big difference for us. So once we get fully staffed, that's going to be a big help. We do have two girls from TPD, our township engineer, that have been helping out in the interim. So that has also helped us out. So yes, we are getting more efficient and getting permits out much quicker.
So the second look process hasn't changed, though, right? So it's my understanding when somebody goes in for a permit, they send everything through. If something needs to be corrected, we get it back, it starts from the beginning, and it touches all the same hands again, correct?
It only touches the same hands if, for example, zoning is approved, it doesn't touch that hand again. It only touches the hands that gave them the denial for a re-review. So that the process to resubmit and reapprove or get the final approval is much quicker because it doesn't have to touch everybody's hands.
Okay, so we're not starting
No.
at the bottom of the list and
Absolutely
cycling
not,
back
no.
through, because I think that was the issue when I first got here. So I'm glad to hear that there's a different process in
Yes.
place for a second look to expedite.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions for Ken in reference to building and planning? Okay, Ken, thanks a lot. All right, thanks for coming out.
Thank you
All right,
very
Thanks
much.
for being available to us when we call you and you get back to us and answer our questions. And I know it's it's a lot on your plate, but we're working towards getting this better and better.
Thank you very much and happy holidays.
Thank you.
The next budget is Jim Bogan. He's our Director of Country Club Operations. His budget can be found on page 20 and 21. Page 20, excuse me, is our revenues for the club, and page 21 are the expenditures for the club. Between Jim and I, we'll be handling golf and banquet side.
Mr. President, council, mayor, and residents of Bensalem Township, I'm here to present our 2023 budget. Just one note, if you look at our actuals for 2021 and you add 5%, basically that's what we're going to hit for this year, actual.
Oh, is that revenue?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're 5% higher than 21.
Yes. We're going to be right around there when you get the bond final figure in the end of the year.
Okay.
You can see it's a
Okay,
little different than projection.
So it'll be better than projected, actually?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then, in general, it seems like the golf course is doing good as far as the level of business. I know the
Yes.
condition's very good.
Yes.
But the level of business and the amount of people in the local community that are taking
Yes.
advantage of it seems to be good, right?
We have a reasonable rate, but we have a very active club.
Yeah.
We're adding some new improvements. You might want to get into that with John. And
Okay, do
But-
you know what the major improvements are this year?
Yeah, so we have 4 bridges at the country club that need repair. One is, has already opened on us. We have it steel plated right now for safe passage over it. But we have 4 bridges that will need to be replaced next year. They're slated to go out to bid, well, actually, I'm sorry, they're slated for construction early spring, late winter, to get it all repaired before we're in our prime golf season. But that's one of the major projects that we're going to be doing at the Country Club next year.
And as an investment, Jim, it seems like, I'm not an engineer, but it seems like the new bridges are more permanent type bridges than the bridges before
They
were.
did a 500-year study,
Yeah, yeah.
so they're going to be here a while. Whether the golf course stays,
They're metal or something,
Or if
right?
it
The new ones,
stays, it's
the new ones
gonna
are made of something
Right.
like metal or something, right?
Yes.
It's not, the wooden ones are.
no, they're gone.
They're
Yeah.
destined
They'll be
to
gone.
fail at some
Yeah.
point.
I can assure you, with this administration and council, it will be staying.
That's-
I would hope so. And again, thank you for all your support.
And we're still working on the paths a little bit at a time? We
Yes,
just got
yes,
some
we've been
done.
making headway. We've got another active, at the beginning part of the year, we're going to do another stretch. So we're just sectioning off areas. It's working out very well that way.
Yeah, we just did it.
Because to do the whole golf course was extremely expensive.
Right.
Weren't you changing one of the holes?
We are.
We're doing that?
But that's all tied up with the mayor's plan to get the, alleviate the drainage
Okay.
coming off of Humeville.
Okay, right.
And it's tying into our movement of that
Moving
11th
over.
hole for safety reasons also. 11 was always,
So 11's
Yeah.
going to be moved to the right so the balls don't go on Unionville Road.
yes, yeah. We
I can
lost
get
some
it over
trees.
Yeah, no trees.
They weren't taken down by,
Your
by,
game will improve, because it's only 17 holes.
No, I'm a lower count. No, but it is, I'm left-handed, it is nerve-wracking on the 11th hole, because if you slice one, you could hit a car. I mean, and there's no trees there. And then the 18th tee box is eventually going to be moved, right?
it's crossing over the road.
Right.
And then we're going to bring it a little mild dogleg left up
And
into
how
the,
many inches are you increasing the diameter of the holes on the green?
anything you want, Mr. Kissel.
Do you see a lot more younger kids coming out to play
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Because I know for a while there,
Yes.
so that's helped to increase. the-
COVID was actually very good for golf.
I've heard that.
If you look at our, all our cart attendants, they're all school kids, all playing on this golf team. And
My
they had a
daughter started
very
playing
good-
golf
But
for
the high school
Nazareth.
golf team did
Yes,
really well.
and they had a very good year.
Tribute of your, I guess,
they-
golfers at Bensalem. I
Yeah.
don't know
They
if
do
they're
great.
employees, but
They're under our tutelage, yes,
Yeah.
and they're
They're good
doing very
kids.
well. And hopefully some of them will work into the profession.
Now, Jim, you still run a youth league, right, or
Yes.
a first
Two.
tee program?
We run multiple youth leagues.
Right.
Some startup leagues, and we also are starting to have ideas of different clinics. First Tee
Right.
entertains a session at our site, 5 sessions, actually.
Right, and Johnny C's still running the program for the
Exactly.
veterans,
Yes,
right?
yes.
good point, Joe.
Johnny
Yeah.
C. is an amazing individual. He
And do you
is-
give lessons? Because I have to get back into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I did golf. I did, yeah, many years
One of-
ago. When I worked in New York, I used to golf with
On
my
a
training
personal
friends.
note, I'd like to thank my new superintendent, Roger Smith, and his crew.
Yeah, he's doing a
They did
good job,
an
yeah.
excellent job. They had the supervision of Jim Starnstill. He is still around overseeing, but he works part-time. But the golf course really held up this year under trying circumstances. It was a tough year. We threw a lot of water throughout the course of the year, and we kept it green, thanks to the mayor and council. He promised me that the first time he when the council took over the club, he said, "You're going to get water for your golf course," and we do.
Yeah.
It will be. We're going to plant a tree for you and me.
And the participation in the BGA, the Bensalem Golf Association,
Yes.
it was tremendous this year, right? You're
Close to 300.
Yeah, 300 golfers, yeah. And if you don't know, it's a couple $100 to join. You
Yeah,
get a little bit of a
it's a golf
discount when you play.
association.
And then they run a lot of tournaments that we chip in for. and-
Correct.
And it's very enjoyable for the
Yes,
residents that want to
yes.
get involved once you're playing. And different skill levels play on it too, which is
Exactly.
good too.
But like all the directors, I want to thank the mayor, council, and the people of the town for supporting us. It's unique to have that much open space in one area, in Lower Bucks. I say that all the time. And it was a hard-fought battle, but it's going to pay off. 50 years down the road, they're going to say, what an amazing accomplishment. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for doing that. My father used to pick there
Yeah.
when it was a farm. And he
Truck
would get
farm.
paid a nickel
Yeah.
or a quarter or whatever he would get paid.
Budney, Mr. Budney. Yeah.
So, yes, my father.
Yeah, Hansel, yeah.
And then the driving range is doing good? Some people don't
Yes,
realize we have a full
yes,
driving range in
yes.
the center, right?
Yeah.
That's not open all winter, is it?
Any day there's not snow. I look at Tim when I say that too, but we appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I don't do the hot dogs. No. I don't. I try to avoid hot dogs.
That's the only time we make some money. is
Yeah,
on hot
no.
dogs.
No, they pay.
I'm not a hot dog guy. But that's good.
Banquet, we're instituting some new ideas hopefully, and I look forward to seeing that really crank up. And I know John and Bill and everybody, they're working hard that we get everything running on all cylinders.
Okay, and we,
Just as an observation, everything is wonderful, and the program we have with the children has exponentially increased with the amount of kids and they're interested in it, and I credit that to the people you have there. I mean, they're doing a wonderful job, so I just wanted to, add that to the whole scenario, that everything is looking real
Yeah.
good. So, that's what I had to add to it.
yeah, Jim, I appreciate the fact that I do go over once in a while, not as much as the mayor thinks, a couple times a month. But I do hear from the residents in Bensalem, okay, that they do feel that they're treated properly when they go over to the golf course, no matter what skill level they're at. They're a resident of Bensalem. You have a staff that understands who the people are, who comes back. You offer assistance, and you got a real good staff, and it's a real nice place to
Thank
be.
you.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a great sport.
A few of our seniors just go and hang out there, as you know, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But it's a great sport.
It's a great sport, a little difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it's for life.
That's good. Does anybody have any specific questions for Jim about the budget or for John?
How's Walter, by the way? Have you heard?
Walt
of him?
Arch?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's been in rehab. It's a slow recovery.
Yeah, I haven't
I
heard.
think,
so-
I would imagine everybody up there knows Walter.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the specifically I was thinking of, actually, who
Yes,
come out and hang at the
yes.
golf course.
Yeah, he would, yeah, a lot of the seniors come every day.
Yeah. Yeah, you can putt on the putting greens, you can chip around, you can go to the golf range. It doesn't really cost that much if you're just hanging out and enjoying yourself, walking and get a little exercise in open space. Is there any questions in reference to the golf course for Jim?
Jim had alluded to John expanding upon banquet.
Yeah, so banquets budget, we are in the process of looking for a banquet manager to bring it back in-house. Currently, we have a management company that hires a banquet manager to run the facility. All the employees are ours except for the banquet manager, but the banquet manager would run the facility for us. We're looking to bring that back inside to see if we can't revitalize the business. Thank you, revitalize the business. So that's one of the things that is a little different this year's budget, interviewing candidates right now.
I'm glad you're doing that because there was a lot of calls being made. Food wasn't great, service wasn't great, things weren't great. Mr. Bogan and I talked about it before about bringing it back in-house again because you get the best of everything when you control what's going on. So I'm glad you guys are looking to do that now.
Yeah. When you can do things in-house, it really is personal. Yeah, it helps.
That's the difference.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's the way you're treated too, like, not that they mistreated people, but
Yes.
I'm saying.
No,
that
absolutely
they're
not.
not looking for the
But
bottom line.
Yeah, the incentives become more,
But it's when it tends to be a local person has done business in the township, he kind of has
Yes.
he has some skin in the game.
Yes.
And he cares about how he treats people, and those same people come back.
I agree.
That's the big thing, which tournaments, you get people come in, they don't feel like the food was up to par and things of that nature.
Yeah.
They're not going to come back, and with bringing it in-house, I think you have a better control
Yeah.
of what's going on. I think you're going to see a lot of tournament people that came before coming back, because it's going to be first class again. Not that it wasn't first class.
No,
but
no.
It just had its ups and downs, so.
And like any business, it's hard to maintain employees, especially chefs.
Yeah, the facilities are nice, though. The room's beautiful, and the facilities are nice, and there's really no reason why we can't do well
Oh,
there.
yeah, we'll do well. We will.
Okay, is there any other questions for Jim or for Bill? Or for John? Any more questions for reference to the banquet or reference to golf? Okay, Jim, thanks a lot. You do a great job. Thanks
Thank
a
all
lot.
of you.
Appreciate your work.
All right, so I'll take questions on the remaining part of the budget. The first page I'd like to turn to is page 23. It's our capital improvement fund. We have a large project load for next year budgeted within this, within the capital improvement. One of the things, though, to obviously do all these programs, we need the funding for it. So what we have proposed in the budget for 2023 is a loan from the Capital Trust in the amount of $5 million to fund a majority of these projects. Projects such as the public safety apparatus facility. If we get awarded the grant for the turf field up at First Responders Field, there is obviously township cost to that. It's not 100% covered by the grant. So we'd have expenditures for that. There's also the spray park is also in the capital improvement fund. That is not 100% grant as well. So we're also planning on doing a road repaving project next year, as we do every other year. So
Much smaller.
yeah, it's going to be a much smaller, more compact paving project in the estimates of around $2 million. So as part of the budget, there would be a transfer, a loan from the Capital Trust to the Capital Improvement Fund, should you approve it.
Where is that?
So if you look at the upper half under revenues, there's an interfund transfer of $6,528,500. Part of that is the already authorized transfer for when we purchased First Responders Field. We had a balance left of just roughly $1.5 million that we never actually pulled out of the fund. We've been using a fund balance to do the improvements up there currently. But we're going to replenish the capital improvement fund with that, and then the balance would be the $5 million that we're looking to transfer out of the capital improvement fund, or the capital trust fund.
I don't see the 5 million. Really.
So if you turn to, no problem.
Page
If you
20.
turn to page 25, so on the trust fund page, it's a little bit easier. There's a loan to capital. It's that last line there. It's $6,049,800. That's the 1.5 plus the 5 million is the transfer that we're looking to do from the trust fund to the capital improvement fund.
And that's a loan?
It's a loan, yeah. So as we've done with all the other loans that we've done out of the trust fund, we'll amortize it out, pay ourselves the interest as opposed to borrowing money and paying interest to the banks. And you can actually see, again, back on page 25, you can see the repayments that we're doing, the repayment of the loan for the purchase of the First Responders Field or the old Trifecta property, as well as previous years when we've pulled money out, we've been making annual contributions of roughly around $500,000 to replenish those funds as well.
So that will increase from 500,000 to the additional amount of 5 million times the percentage times the, I assume, 20 years.
Yeah, so what we'll do is when we make the actual determination as to how much we're going to borrow, so it's an up to $5 million request. Depends on what
Grants you get?
grants come in, as well as what bidding aspect looks like. So once we have our hard number, we'll then develop the amortization schedule, and in the 2024 budget, we'll start making payments back to the Capital Trust Fund.
What line is that repayment in?
If you look at page 25 and under revenues, the last line there, it says trifecta loan repayment, $208,000. and then the interfund transfer of $500,000. Those are repayments that we're making currently for previous loans that were taken out of the trust.
And where does the, where does the 208,000 come from?
General fund pays
The
that.
general fund, okay.
Yes, as well as the 500 as well.
Okay, John, that's a good point I wanted to bring up, if you, let me know if I'm correct. I think Mr. Kisselback was one of the ones that spearheaded the fact that we want you to pay back that money we borrowed from the trust on this stuff and other stuff in the past.
Very true.
Now, has the trust fund, at the time, wasn't getting much interest, just like
Correct.
if you have any savings in the bank, it's not getting much interest. It's starting to
Correct.
get a little now, but not much.
Yeah, right.
Right? But
Yes.
now, will the trust fund in the future, like next year, we anticipate the trust fund actually making money again, like it did when I first
Yeah,
got
so
on council?
our one portfolio next year, 95% of it matures. So we have a lot of lower interest securities that are going to mature, and the investors are obviously looking for much higher rates with the economy the way that it is right now to lock into. So yeah, the interest should start gaining back to the higher rates,
And
depending on what happens
that's why
with
it's
the
good we
economy.
kept as much money in there as we could over the years instead of
Yes.
spending it.
Correct.
And then also, on the opposite thing, the debt that we serviced over the years, I know, and Mr. Plary was, and I were, and Mr. Kisselback were here at the time, and we refied a lot of that money, right?
Yes, yes.
And we took advantage of the low interest rates.
Yes.
That were there. So a lot of our debt is in very low interest rates that are locked.
Yeah,
Is
2
that correct?
3/4 or in that ballpark with all of our debt, all fixed rates.
And that's long-term, right?
Long-term, yes. So
Right.
all fixed rates, so we have no more adjustable rate loans, which is what we had previously, which when we took advantage and refinanced all of them into fixed rate. So in this environment, you're paying much, much more than 2 3/4. So yeah, that has served us well as well.
Yeah, so you want and we put ourselves in a position through the administration's advice too, where we have low interest rate on the debt and higher interest anticipated on our trust fund.
Right.
That's a positive thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
And the investments in the trust fund, I'm assuming that there's regulations around what you
Yes.
can invest in?
Yeah, so we have
we're
to
not
do-
just going out and doing
Correct.
crypto?
Yeah, we have to do CDs, we have to do government-backed securities. We do have the availability to do higher-end corporate credit for a 90-day period. So you can, if Amazon or the higher-end, higher-rated companies put out a short-term issuance of debt, we can purchase that at a higher yield than we could on the government-backed security or something like that. But they're a much shorter time frame when they're issued. And again, there's regulations as to how much of the percentage of the portfolio can be invested in those type of securities as well. So they're all managed by our investment teams that we have that the money's invested with, and they manage it well for us, try and find the most yield as possible.
And then to Mr. Knowles' point, I look back at the 2017 audited financials, and I believe it was 48 or 49 million that we had in bonds, and we're down to 35 million.
Correct.
So in 4 years, we've been able to pay down $13 million to reduce our overall debt. I know that's been a comment in past years about how much debt we have.
Sure.
But at times, you have to have debt to have good ratings. We're
Correct.
managing our debt well.
Right.
Which is most important.
Right.
As most of us up here.
And sometimes you need to take the debt out to do the improvements that are necessary to keep the town in the shape that it's in.
Yes, so it's good to know that we're managing it well, and we're
Yep.
able to go out, if we ever had that need, that we've been able to pay it
We
off
do,
and show that
yes.
we're good.
And we have the second highest credit rating that Moody's offers, so we're in great financial shape.
Also, that brings up a point, thank you. I wanted to bring up a point too that, Jim Bogan had mentioned, that we made that major investment in opens, not only recreation and general enjoyment for the community and recreation, but the open space of the golf course, okay? And we have debt that's on the golf course, and we've been able to still make money on the actual golf course despite the debt we're carrying on it. That was within 5 years or 8 years or something? What's the deal on that?
We're not making money on the debt.
No, we're,
We're not paying off the debt. We're making money as a gob.
right, but if we didn't have debt on the golf course, we would be making money on the golf course.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
correct.
And that's
So-
the future.
Well, when is the future? That's
8
what I'm saying.
years.
8 years, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
I knew it was
sorry.
between.
From
I knew it was-
2028, I'm sorry,
Okay.
yes, 2028, yes.
So
So
if we-
6 years.
Yeah, so if we continue to maintain the golf course at a current rate, get a better banquet facility, make some money on the golf course, we get to 2028, we're going to be profitable on the golf course.
Yes.
Right, okay.
I have a question
Well, I
for you.
propose that budget, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah? John, I'm going to bring you back page to 23.
Sure.
There's a lot of activity on this page, but can you elaborate on the stormwater restoration for the $9 million? What's happening there?
Sure. So a few years back, the federal government instituted the American Rescue Plan, where they allocated funds to municipalities for infrastructure improvements. So there is a very strict regulation as to what you can use those funds on. We don't have wastewater. We don't have wastewater treatment plants or anything like that. So the main thing that we can use it for is stormwater infrastructure. So 9.4 million is how much we receive from the federal government. I have 8.9 budgeted for next year because we've already done some projects, or we have projects slated to be, they're in construction or they're slated to be finished in the beginning half of 23. So those are all the programs listed down below in the public improvement section of the expenses. A lot of the stormwater improvements we're doing, projects that we've done are listed in there and will be doing for the next year. A lot of projects that we've worked on this year, such as Glendale, Neshami Boulevard. We have different projects that are slated to go to bid in the beginning of next year, so they'll go into construction next year.
So you had the engineering phase this year and the construction phase next year?
Correct.
And is there a time frame on when we have to spend these funding?
So everything has to be allocated by 2026, and then you have to be done the projects by 2028.
2028?
Yes.
And John, the mayor might know this more than you, I'm not really sure, or perhaps Timmy from Public Works, but at what point are we at the project where we're doing the curbs, the round curbs near the sewer grates in the Eddington-Cornwall section to help flooding in that area? Is that project happening or still in
So we
plan?
finished the phase one.
Okay.
Yeah, we finished phase one, and then we're evaluating what has left to be done in Eddington for next year.
As far as the curbs around
The storm, yeah, around the storm drains and stuff.
and then what about the whole drainage project where the streets were being ripped up a little bit and it drained all into Cornwall School area?
Oh,
Is that project done?
It's
or-
done, completely done,
Okay,
and knock wood, we haven't heard any of the residents with any issues down there. So it seems to be working well for all that.
Yeah,
that
during
whole
construction,
section.
we were taking calls.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of calls. Lots of pain for long-term benefits. And the good thing with those projects is they were all done with concrete pipe, if I recall correctly. So you don't have run the risk of the metal rusting out and stuff like that, as we do with a lot of our older infrastructure at this point.
Okay, good.
Terracotta, the old ones.
Terracotta, yeah.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for John in reference to, as the finance manager, in reference to the budget itself? And then, John, the only thing else I wanted to mention is in the mayor's letter, it's mentioned, but it's in the record, but we're also doing the $300 rebate this year again?
Yep. In
Okay,
20
so
correct.
there's no tax increase on property taxes,
Correct.
and we're still doing $300 per resident, plus low-income
The additional
senior
150.
citizens can apply for additional money. And that's going to cost us, what, about $4.5 million again?
Roughly, yes.
So it's $4.5 million out of the 10 or 11 million that we get from the casino?
Close to 5 million on
Oh, close to 5, right? I think I read it's $54 million that we've given back after this year?
that.
Yes,
Yep,
correct.
It's in the letter.
Yes.
54 million. I
I'm
told you I
proud of
read the letter.
I'm proud of you.
I told you I read the letter. But anyway, so 54 million back. I didn't write the letter, though, no. I had no knowledge of the letter prior to it being written, but I did read the
I
letter.
admit, I wrote the letter.
Okay. But But Mr. Gieselman's point, the 54 million that we've given back to the residents, which was started by Mr. Kisselback and Mr. Polari and others prior to me even being on council, we're the only municipality, this is in your letter too, we're the only municipality that's ever given any money back.
Why don't you read the letter, Joe?
Yeah. Read the whole letter. Yeah, you can read is it online, the letter?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, if anybody can't sleep or something, and you want to read the mayor's letter, it's online. Yeah. Read the mayor's letter.
I don't have any questions, just a comment, John. I would like to thank you for taking the time to walk me through some of this stuff. I had some just general questions, but I appreciate all of your hard work and efforts in keeping to the budget. Thank you for all that you do. Mayor, great job. I'm happy to see that we can keep things stable here, not raise taxes, and still give people something back, and that we're going to work on some projects this year that are really going to serve our residents well. So thank you all for coming here today and presenting to us and working so hard.
It's our pleasure, and thank you very much.
Yeah, John, I'd add that too, to add on to Ms. Benitez's comments. You really do take our phone call, just like the other department heads do answer our calls, because we get complaints from people. We don't make stuff up. People call us, and then we have to call to find out what's going on. Sometimes I'll call you and go, this can't be true, right? But you have a very good way of explaining stuff in a layman's term almost. I mean, Ms. Champion has some financial background, but you can explain stuff to people in a simple layman's term and lay it out. So, and you spend, council members, I know for a fact, over the last week or so have spent hours on the phone with you, half hour, 3/4 of an hour sessions. Right. That's what he's asking you for a raise, right?
First, but I find out later.
Yeah. So at least you can explain things to us, and we appreciate your time and effort in doing that.
It's all part of the service that we provide. It's my pleasure.
Okay.
That's very true.
That's right.
I'd like to add one thing, if I may.
Yeah.
This is a comment, and that is, the council and mayor are very aware of a problem that we have in Bensalem, which is rectifying the stormwater management of Bensalem Township. So it's something we have been discussing at some times, and it's something we want to be, and will probably be very proactive in that respect, based on the administration's directions and working together. And it's something that I think long-term will be something that we will all appreciate, and it may be similar to what John had just explained about the curbs in Eddington. It may be a pain in the butt for a short time, but long-term wise, it's going to be the right decision to be made, because it's something that we're all quite aware of, and it's something that residents have been coming up to us periodically, especially after a storm, and rightfully so, making us aware of the problems in their specific areas. But I think it's all of Bensalem we need to reconstruct what we're doing in the stormwater management in terms of innovative ideas and different things that we should be doing this coming year and in the future. So I just wanted to add that.
Yep. Okay, anything else?
Because you said that, sorry, not to belabor this, but I do want to recognize our state representative, Casey Tomlinson, who has brought funding into Bensalem to help us with these issues. She has a lot of respect for me. She works very hard for our community, and she's a partner to us and a great one. So thank you, Casey Tomlinson.
Okay, so. No, we didn't do it. Okay. So is there there's no other questions? Is there anybody from the public that has any questions in reference to the budget before we vote on the budget? Seeing no one come forward. Okay, is there a motion to accept the mayor's budget for 2023 as presented? Okay, is there a second?
Second. As presented.
Okay, second is Ms. Benitez. All in favor? Aye. Any against? Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Mayor. Great job. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is a consider consideration of a resolution, and I talked to John about, this is one of our questions I had, consideration of resolution establishing fees for certain services provided by the Bensalem Township Treasurer. So these apparently are fees, John, that we have to approve, but they're collected by the tax collector.
Correct.
Or treasurer, and they tend to be fees that he's charging banks and other mortgage companies and such for services that he's providing.
Right, so the municipal code states that the tax collector's fees are regulated by the township. However, they're all fees that go directly to the tax collector for tax certifications, duplicate bills, and then obviously, if there's any overdraft fees that, for someone who bounced a check, he can assess them with an overdraft fee for bouncing that check. So the tax collector has put together the request for the fees as referenced in the resolution. And if any questions, I'll certainly be able to try and answer them for you. No, this is where
I have a
whenever
question.
the tax collector has to raise it.
I have a question. What is a tax certification? For what purpose? What's happening there?
I'm not sure. I'll be
Well,
honest.
I'll tell you, well,
He knows
when you
what
have to do, when you have to certify someone's taxes are paid in order for them to get a refund back on taxes if you're transferring property. So so the school taxes run on a fiscal year from
July to June.
July 1 to June 30th, okay? So if you sell a house or a commercial property in September, someone has to certify that the school taxes were paid in order to get money back at settlement for that money, you know what I mean? And then the other ones run on a regular year from the county and the township run from January 1st to December 30th. So it depends when it hits. They have to certify the taxes are paid. There's no liens, there's no back taxes. They have to check with the county if it gets any back further. And they could have to certify for other reasons, I guess, that if they're getting a loan or something for a business and putting a lien against the property, they would have to certify that their taxes are up to date.
And what does this mean with the years? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and 4 years?
How far back of a year
So it's
tax
how far-
cert that they have to go back.
Okay,
So
I got it.
depending on the status is how many years back they would go on,
All
look
right.
on that property.
Thank you.
And then
Thanks.
you had said that, I had asked this question to you prior, but these fees were already established fees to begin with, and these fees that we're putting the amounts to are in coordination or around the same price that other municipalities are charging?
Yeah,
the
so
county treasurer?
there is an increase to the fee than what was being charged by the previous tax collector, so I'll first state that. But all the fees that are being prepared are very similar to a few of the other municipalities' tax collectors' fees in the surrounding communities.
So they're all in the same range?
Yes.
Okay, and these were all fees that were established already at least?
Yes.
They've been a little bit lower fee, but they
Correct.
were established, okay.
Correct.
And the cost probably to do these probably went up?
Yes.
The only thing I would note, and this is just me being a banker, that overdraft fees really should be identified as non-sufficient funds fees, because the check writer is going to get will get the non-sufficient funds charge for the check writer for that bounce check.
Okay.
It's not technically an overdraft. So I would just ask that the verbiage be updated on that to clearly identify that, because they
Okay.
are two separate things.
And it's non-sufficient? No.
Non-sufficient funds charge. If that is what it's supposed to be, which I'm
Yes,
assuming it
yes.
is.
Okay, is there any questions in reference to the fees besides what we've already asked John? Okay, so is there a motion that we approve the resolution for the fees as presented?
I'll do the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Champion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the resolution for the Bensalem tax treasurer for the fees presented, say aye. Aye. Any against? Okay, so that's done. Okay, public comment, is there anybody here that wants to make public comment in reference to anything with the budget or any other issue that budget-related, township-related? Okay, seeing no one come forward, we'll close public comment. Deb, do you have anything, new business? Okay, and then anybody, Bill, you have anything else? No. Okay, John, you're okay? Mayor, do you have anything, you want to read the end of your letter or anything, or? No?
I have a 16-page letter to read.
Okay.
No, I want to thank council for tonight's budget. Obviously, we're all working together, and for all of our directors, all of our people working out here, kudos to all of you. It's only done because of you. It's a team effort. Everybody knows me. I don't get this done by myself, and certainly Bill and John and all of our staff, and certainly all of our workers we have here, certainly our police department, second to none, and I mean second to none. We pay for that, but look what you have. We walk our streets still safely here in Bensalem, and our streets go right into Philadelphia. So you all know that. I don't want to go into that, but our public works, kudos. Certainly, Chuck, what you're doing out there, and the golf course. Everybody loves the golf course. I was thinking about getting sheep out there, Jim. I think it would be a good idea. Just keep them off the green, but really, it's unbelievable what's going on. And Ken, I know you've been working under a lot of stress down there, a lot of things going on. Building and planning is a very, very difficult area. We strive to get that work. I think we're there. We're getting there. We need some more help there. But just all of us working together, guys, that's what makes this community who it is. Not one person, but all of us. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the time that here in Bensalem. It's a great, great, great community. The other thing is Christmas tree lighting, Saturday the 10th, right? What time we start? What time? 5:30. 5:30. So everybody knows about that. It's a great event. We're having a drive-through again, right? Where we drive through. Everybody comes by, and Santa will be here. I think I just want to mention the great job the Rotary did with Breakfast with Santa. They had
It's the Lions Club,
record-breaking
I think.
crowds there.
I think it's the Lions Club.
Pardon me?
It's the Lions,
Club,
yeah.
Lions, yeah. The Rotary were there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Lions. I apologize to the Lions for that. They do a phenomenal job there, and that was the best one they've done so far. A lot of people are hurting. It's Christmas time. Hopefully, we all keep all those people in our prayers. And I wish everybody the greatest holidays we could have coming up, Christmas and obviously New Year and 2023 on top of us. And hopefully, it's going to be a good year. I'm looking forward to it again. Thank you to all the people here and everybody working together in council. Thank you. And Debbie's part of the staff, so I can mention her here tonight. The great job that everybody does. It's an easy job for me, believe me, with the kind of people we have here. God bless everybody.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Benitez, do you have anything you want to add?
No, just thank you all again. You make us look good. You thank us when you're up there, but we honestly, we're thanking you. We're so appreciative of all of your hard work and what you do for our community every day. I mean that very genuinely. So if you need anything from us, you know we're here to support you. And happy holidays, but we'll be seeing you Monday, the 12th, and hope to see you at the tree lighting. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Polari, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing.
You okay?
Let them read the letter out.
You want to talk about the Flyers, or they're coming back, or no? Ms. Champion?
Santa letters? Is there not a drop box for Santa letters, and what's the last day for that?
I'll check what the last day.
I know somebody had asked about it on social media, and I did respond, but I can't remember. So Santa letters and the tree lighting, enjoy it. I won't be there, thank you. Look,
We'll be taking them
on
on Saturday.
Saturday, okay. So up until Saturday then, if you have a letter for Santa, for a response. And as Ms. Benitez, Mr. Polari, everybody up here, thank you guys, you really do an amazing job. It's wonderful to be sitting up here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity up here to do that, to work with all of you. It really is a great town. Somebody said something to me on Friday night at the Parks thing that her sister and husband had moved to Bensalem. Until they moved to Bensalem, she didn't quite understand how special it was, and they talked about what a great sense of community it is here. And it is because, as large as we really are a small town, and it's great. And I really am very happy and proud to be from Bensalem and to be serving Bensalem. So thank you guys for doing everything you guys do to make us look so good in all of Bensalem and to the rest of the county.
Mr. President, I forgot, it's Hanukkah also coming up?
Yes.
The 18th, so wish everybody have a happy Hanukkah. Thank you.
Okay, yep. Okay, Mr. Christopher, do you have anything to add?
I do. First of all, I'd like to thank all the directors for everything that you do for us. I mean, it's not just to prepare the budget 2 weeks before you submit it to the mayor, it's you're doing it the entire year, and you're working the budget. And as was just said a moment ago from Ms. Benitez, that you are an asset to the township, and I think we have the best directors anywhere in Bucks County, if not in the entire northeast area. When I say that, I'm also going to give accolades to Joe Pizzo, our solicitor, who takes the brunt of all the activities from every meeting that we have and really backs us up and makes us look good a lot of times. So Joe, we thank you very much for everything you do for us amongst your many solicitor activities that you have from different counties and different places. But I know your heart's in Bensalem, and we appreciate that. If I were to sing the song, All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth, I'm going to sing instead of that, All I Want for Christmas is that December 12th meeting to be canceled, so we can enjoy getting ready for the activities of Christmas. And so we'll see what happens on that. Hopefully there's not a lot of activity, and we can wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays for everyone. And again, as I said, Saturday it is. Saturday. That is the tree lighting at 5:30. And if you were a minute late, you missed it, because it's right on time. And the Parks and Rec Department, they run a wonderful thing. It's really exciting to see the kids run around and have a good old time. And and if you're an adult, come out and just see it, because it's really cool. Stacy said just a minute ago, we have large services that we give to the residents of Bensalem with the small town.
We're a large town with a small community.
Well, I'm changing just a little bit, saying we give large services to the community, and we are a small town mentality.
Yes.
So that's exactly what we all believe, and that's what makes us work. And our deputy director is here, our new deputy director Chase, and he's here. He's pretty quiet tonight, so that's a good thing. So hello to you too. And we have our lieutenant here too. Okay, thank you. That's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the budget. We had excellent budget, and you can't run a township like this to have, it's 30 years that the mayor's done this without raising property taxes. And to have a budget that we don't raise property taxes, that we still give $300 back to each resident of your property taxes. And there's a chart in here that, you know, your township taxes are a very small portion of your property taxes to begin with. And then we're giving, the average one's in the $450 range, and we're giving $300 of that back. Okay, so to get the police that we have, our public safety people, our public works, it's a real good job. You have to stay on top of this. We do have the best department heads around, and I do think that since I've been here, we had John move into the finance manager. We had Bill moving in as the police public safety director, and Timmy Schultz over there, and then Public Works, and so these, and Ken down at zoning. These are all new people that we've implemented into the mayor's administration. The mayor's implemented in administration, and it's running again now like a well-tuned machine, like it used to, and we're back on track, and we're going to be really have a positive future. So everybody's excited. I was going to add to the budget that I wanted a particular branch removed from the township's golf course on 16, but I'll have to see what that could be in next year's budget.
Maybe the next ball you hit at it,
Yeah,
it
it might be.
you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you might be correct. That's one of my sayings, is I hit that tree hard. Yeah, so we'll be ready. Okay, is there, we'll have to see about December 12th, depending on, for our meeting, December 12th, whether we have a meeting or not, depending on whether there's agenda items. Yeah, we don't know whether there's things that have to be on the agenda or not. But do you want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Ed, Mr. Polari, so moved. Second? Well, it says adjourn.
Adjourn, motion. Second, real good.
I'm the president for at least one more week.